Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today I'm going to be going over a huge problem this Houston Astros team has right now, and they have to fix it immediately. Maybe they can wait until the trade deadline to fix this problem, but it's a problem they have to fix, and we're going to get into that. Before I get into that issue, I want to say this. Over the first 43 games of the season, I've tried to remain positive. I don't freak out at things. You see Astros fans, or some of them aren't really even Astros fans. They're just really bandwagons who can't stand to see the Astros struggle. You see a lot of fake fans who overreact on social media. I see it all the time in the comment section. And I think I try to stay positive most of the time with this team, even when things are going bad. And I know where I get that from. I get that from the Astros, the Locked On Astros crew with Brett and Eric. If you watch those guys, and they're both very positive always, and they even say always positive, always Stros, and so that's where I get trying to be positive from, and I'm gonna still remain positive with this team because like the way I see it, this team pitching wise is one of the best in baseball. And pitching, what I just saw from Hunter Brown, I've never seen such an amazing performance from him. Look, I wouldn't go as far to say this was the best game he's ever pitched or one of the best games I've ever seen him pitch, or to say it's the best, but it's one of the best I've seen from him. But at the same time, there are still issues with this team. Pitching, if you're going to complain about pitching with this team, like, you're just complaining to complain. Like, I had someone comment the other day complaining about pitching with this Astros squad. I'm like, are you serious complaining about pitching? Are you really serious? Because the Astros, when they finish up the Royals series, and they won that last game 4-3. Their last 5 wins, they'd only given up 5 runs. Their pitching has been have been monsters. It's just been unbelievable this year. This is the second time but that's where I get into things. This is the second time this Astros team has a complete game and still lose. Framber Valdez did it against the Royals in Kansas City. Now Hunter does it in Texas, in Arlington. And it's just really frustrating. This offense has been god-awful. And you know what? Honestly, they do this a lot. They get a bunch of hits and they don't score runs. Today, they out-hit the Rangers. They had 5 hits. I think this is another great example. This was a win for the Astros, but this is a great example. The Astros, and then this is another Hunter Brown start. Last Friday, played the Reds. It was the series opener. They won 3-0. Hunter Brown was amazing. Went 5 2/3, had 9 strikeouts. Unbelievable Hunter Brown, was against the Reds to help the Astros get a shutout. And look, it's not like Hunter Brown went. It's not like it was a complete game for Hunter Brown that game. The bullpen looked great because the bullpen had 3 1/3 of the game. They looked great. And hitting-wise, the offense looked great. The Astros scored 3 runs that game. If you look at it, it doesn't look like the Astros offense was very bright. But hitting-wise, they had 12 hits in that game, but only scored 3 runs. That's what I'm talking about. They have so many games where they're really high in the hit total, but cannot score runs, and that has been a problem. That's not necessarily the problem I'm getting into here. I want to get into the problem of this team that the team has of the left-handed hitter issue. I think that's a huge problem. Probably the biggest problem with this Astros hitting squad. And you really saw it today. You really saw it today for this Astros team going up against Jacob deGrom. And this was, I think, Yordan Alvarez has been out almost the entire month. Maybe I think it was like May 2nd, May 3rd, Yordan got placed on IL. So it's been most of the month. I think today's game was the game you missed Yordan Alvarez the most out of all these games, where you're facing a guy like Jacob deGrom who is dominating against right-handed hitters. After this game ended, deGrom is now has the batting average for hitters, right-handed hitters going up against deGrom is 174. Meanwhile, numbers for left-handed hitters facing deGrom is like a little bit. It's almost 250. It's almost 250. It's like 240, 246 or 247, something like that. So and you saw it today. The only guy that was left-handed hitter which is he's not even fully left-handed hitter. He's a switch hitter. And Caratini went 2 for 3 off of 2 for 3 off of went 2 for 3 off of DeGrom. The Astros had 5 hits in the game. They only had 3 off of no. They were all off of Dupont. They were all off of DeGrom. But two of those 5 hits were a left-handed batter. That's where you really miss Jordan Alvarez. I don't know why Joe Espada didn't start Salazar today. That could have been a way to potentially try to get an extra lefty in the lineup. The Astros recalled Salazar to have an extra lefty in the lineup without Jordan being out. With Jordan being out, why not put him in the lineup today where you have a guy like DeGrom out there who is killer against righties and absolutely is dominant. Sorry, he's killer against righties and actually has a little bit of a harder time with lefties. You could have put Salazar out there. Last year, he had 32 at-bats in the major leagues. Batting average was .320. He's done a good job in AAA this year. That's why you recalled him. Joe Espada should have potentially thought about starting. But that's the problem. That would have been a problem, though, because then you're looking at potentially 3 catchers in the one game because you don't want to take Yainer Diaz out of the lineup because, he's at catcher. He needs to be catching for Hunter Brown. You don't want to take Victor Caratini out of the lineup because he's a better option as a lefty to face DeGrom than Salazar. One way you could have handled it, you could have given Christian Walker the day off, put Caratini at first base, and DH Salazar. Salazar is also flexible to put him in left field, but I don't think that would have been an option. But you could have put Salazar, with Walker struggling, you could have put Caratini at first base and Salazar at DH, so there's an extra lefty. I don't know why Joe didn't do that, especially with Walker struggling recently, and knowing that, DeGrom kills righties. That is something I probably would have done as a manager, even though I'm not. But this Astros team needs to figure out the left-handed issue, the left-handed hitter issue. It is a really big problem for this team. And you need to look at guys to trade for. I think Brandon Lowe is a guy that's been mentioned in the past. He's a guy that you could potentially add in. Look, he's not amazing, but he's had good years in the past. And I think even if you just add in a left-handed hitter, that's all you need to add in. Like, it doesn't have to be a killer guy. Look, I look at Yoshida with the Red Sox. That's a better guy. He's batting .280. Is it 10 home runs so far this year? That might really cost you, but it's something where if you want to be good, you might have to give up a lot to get a lefty. Yoshida's a guy I look at. Same thing with Brandon Lowe. I don't know. There might be other left-handed hitters available that we don't know of. The Astros need to add a left-handed hitter or 2, maybe just 1, to this roster, this trade deadline. And it's nearing up. I mean, it's basically 2 months away, or less than 2 months away. So I think this team can maybe survive until then. But and look, maybe I think this team could potentially go to the playoffs, even without adding in a left-handed hitter, another left-handed hitter. But I'll tell you what, they aren't going to go far in the playoffs at all if they don't add that. And so that's why. And Dana Brown's been asked about this. He said they've looked at it, but it's not something they're really thinking about. So I just think, but it's to me, it's something I think really needs to be think about for this Astros team, and we'll see what happens. You guys in the comment section, you guys let me know your thoughts. And here's my big question: what left-handed hitters would you potentially like to see this Houston Astros team add in? I don't know. I think Brandon Lowe and Yoshida were 2 guys I thought of right away, but there could be other guys that could be available. I think Josh Bell would have been a guy this Astros team would have thought about before signing Christian Walker. But there's really no space for Josh Bell anymore now that you've got Christian Walker on the team. But it'll be interesting to see what this Astros team does, because I think that, look, honestly, if they add in a left-handed hitter or 2, maybe probably just 1, they've got a better chance in the postseason than they do right now for sure, or at least a better chance of making the postseason now. That can definitely solve a lot of issues this team has right now with their hitting issues. I believe it's not going to make everything better, but it's going to make some things better, and that would help a lot. So you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and peace out. Go Astros.